Okay, today we are extending our 1.6 topic with integers, and we are talking about subtracting. Yesterday we talked about adding, today we are talking about subtracting. Jumping right into the rules. The first thing you do if you have a subtraction problem, you change to adding the opposite. So the first thing you do is add the opposite. So we want to change any subtraction problem back into addition because we know addition rules. We know there's two rules for addition. If they're the same sign, you add them up, keep them the sign. If they're different, you take their difference and see which one's further from zero. So the second step here, after we change subtraction to addition, we add following the integer rules. All right, the first example, 35 minus 72. I change this into 35 plus a negative 72. Now I see that they are different signs, so according to my integer rules, I take their difference, 72, take away 35, that would be 37, and then I ask myself, is it positive or negative? It's negative because the negative 72 is further from zero. Okay, this next problem, negative 12, take away a negative 7. Since I'm subtracting, I need to add the opposite. So it's negative 12 plus the opposite of negative 7 is just 7. So now I'm going to take their difference because they're opposite signs. 12 minus 7 is 5. The negative is further from 0, so it's going to be negative 5. Okay. The next one, negative 23, take away a negative 12. I see subtraction right away, so I know I need to add the opposite. So it's negative 123 plus the opposite of negative 12 is just positive 12. Now they're opposite signs. So since they're opposite signs, I take their difference. So I'm going to go 123, take away 12. And that's 111. And then I ask myself, is it positive or negative? It's going to be negative because the negative 123 is further from 0. That's my final answer. Negative 43 minus 12. I turn that into negative 43 plus the opposite of positive 12 is negative 12. They are the same sign, so according to my integer rules, I just add them up and keep it the sign they were. So 43 plus 12 is 55, and they were both negative, so I keep it negative. Okay, so again, remember the integer rules. If they are the same sign, I add them up and just keep it the original sign. I change the subtraction to plus the opposite. The opposite of positive 12 is negative 12. That's when I see I'm adding the same signs, so I added them up. 3 and 2 is 5, 4 and 1 is 5. They're both negative, so I made it negative. All right, moving on to the next page. More examples continue. Same techniques. We learned all the concepts we need to know. Now we just practice the skill. Okay? So negative 3.5 plus 4.3. Do I need to change this to plus and and negative, yes or no?
Yeah.
No. You only change it if it's a subtraction problem. You need to remind yourself somewhere. I don't know, maybe in your notes. You only change it to plus and negative if it's a subtraction problem. Here, this is already addition. I do not need to change it. So, I'm adding different signs. So I take their difference. That's 0.8. And the positive is further from 0, so it's going to be a positive 0.8. Remember, with the decimals, you line up the decimals for adding and subtracting. Negative 28.3, take away a negative 35.1. Do I need to add the opposite on this one? Yes, because it's subtracting. So I rewrite this as negative 28.3 plus the opposite of negative 35.1 is just a positive 35.1. Okay. Okay. Now they're opposite signs, so I take their difference, 35.1, take away 28.3. 14 minus 8 is 6. The decimal comes down. This would be 6.8. And then I ask myself which one is further from 0, the negative or the positive, and it looks like 35.1 is the winner. So it would stay a positive 6.8. Okay, next example is a fraction. Fraction examples, if I'm stuck, I look at my other lesson. It says that I just need to make sure they have a common denominator and then add with the integer rules. So I see that I have a common denominator of 8. I don't need to do anything. I see that it is plus in the middle, so I don't need to change it. It's plus in the middle, so I don't need to add the opposite. Okay? So now I can just add them. Negative 5 plus negative 7, they're the same sign. So I add them up. 5 plus 7 is 12. Keep it the sign they were over the denominator of 8. Now I know we leave it improper, but we want to leave it in the most simplified improper form. So 12 over 8 both share a factor of 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I like to proper math etiquette would be negative 3/8. And just kidding, halves. And I can leave it like that. Or you could write negative 1 1/2. But a lot of times it's probably going to be given to you in that improper form as 8th graders. Okay, this next fraction example, we got a lot going on. So I need to find the first thing I want to do is find a common denominator. And that common denominator is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 5 times 3 would be negative 15. So I have negative 15 over x minus a negative 3 over 6. It is subtraction, so I need to add the opposite. I need to add the opposite only because it is subtraction. So I rewrite this as negative 15 over x, 6, plus the opposite of negative 3 is positive 3 over 6. Now they're opposite signs, so I take their difference. 15 minus 3 is 12. The negative is further away, so it's going to be negative 12. This turns into negative 12 over 6, which is negative 2.